Hello. Hi. Hi, conscious creators. It's me. It's Jean. How's everybody doing tonight? We are going live for the Conscious Creators Toolbox that meets every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. We usually meet at ITC in an Interfaith Truth Center in Austell, Georgia, on Austell Road. We usually meet there, but of course, our coronavirus, as I'm getting a brain freeze here. Our coronavirus has got us kind of stuck in the house and away from all the fun and enjoyable things that we are usually frequenting, during the week. And I was just kind of wondering how everybody's doing out there with being in lockdown. How you doing? How's everybody doing? I'm trying to get everything set up a little bit. I'm going to take a minute or two. Just give me a few minutes. Just a second. I am coming along. We gotta get this going here. See how's everybody doing. Let's see. Put this down and put this one up. There it goes. Okay. So how's everybody doing? Everybody's good? I'm Jean, aka the Conscious Creator, and this is Thursday night Conscious Creators Toolbox. And what we do on Conscious Creators Toolbox is we take a look at some of our creative abilities as creators. We are indeed co-creators with the universe, with God, with one another, with each other. We're just manifesting and creating machines. Is what we are. I'm having a little bit of trouble here. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. Okay, just a tad of trouble. Set this up before, so I apologize for the delay. Is that gonna be it? I think so. Okay. Yeah. So it's Thursday night and 7 o'clock, and we're gonna be probably doing this a little while longer. I don't know. I did hear some announcements. I think the state of Georgia is actually as early as tomorrow. They're planning to allow some of the businesses to reopen. I'm not sure which ones they are. I won't even try to remember that. But I will ask you, or just suggest that you check the news, the local news networks, and any public service announcements about what's going on as far as tomorrow. As early as tomorrow, I understand that they're going to lift some of the quarantine businesses. They're going to allow them to start seeing their clients and their customers again. So hopefully, we might begin to see things kind of, I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to probably be a new norm, but kind of get back to a kind of a normal routine where we're actually able to, get out of the house and have a little bit more freedom and flexibility. I usually work from home. I think that I've retired about 3 years ago, so I work part-time, but I work from home. And I was talking to another one of the coaches that also works part-time. She works she works full-time, and she's a full-time coach. But we both work from home. Our jobs allow us to, either see clients from home or Skype, Zoom, talk to them on the phone from home. So we're used to working from home. We're used to being at home during our business hours. But for some reason, both of us are complaining because we are quarantined and we can't get out and about like we want to. And I guess that would be normal for everybody. But even those of us who are very accustomed to teleworking, our remote working, telecommuting, whatever. We don't like to be in timeout unless it's by choice. So hopefully we'll start seeing some movement and we're getting back up and getting out and about. So let me see. I've got some announcements. I'm going to make a few announcements before I get started tonight. First of all, I did mention about the change, the Georgia's updating the pandemic quarantine. So that's good news. I also wanted to let you know that our YouTube channel is up and it's actually ready for us to start. So what we're going to do is we're going to start broadcasting on May the 7th. We're going to broadcast our first Conscious Creators Toolbox there. I'm thinking, normally, like I said, I normally would be at Interfaith Truth Center in Austell, Georgia on Thursday. So what we'll probably be doing is we'll probably broadcast, we'll actually, once we're able to reopen and start having our regular scheduled events and meetings and services there at the center, I will be moving, actually going back to the open workshops where I facilitate the workshops there, and it allows me to to kind of have a little interaction with the attendees, the folk that actually want to come out to be a part of that. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting an audience or getting a group of folk, to facilitate this, because basically talking about our abilities and our skills, creative abilities and skills, when we're talking about them, we really get, and when we're having the workshops anyway, the sessions, we have an opportunity to actually, use some hands-on and actually, kind of demonstrate with one another and share with one another how we are functioning and operating in those abilities. So I'm looking forward to getting back out there and having an audience. Hello, I'm seeing some folk are tuning in. Hi, Luke. Hey, homeboy, how you doing? And hey, Sample, how you doing? And of course, you have my condolences. Good to see you. Anyway, so I'm glad you all stopped in. This is the Conscious Creators Toolbox. We meet every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. We're doing Facebook Live because we're not able to be at our center out in Austell on Thursday. And as soon as the pandemic quarantine is lifted, hopefully we'll be back there. And I will be, like I said, continuing to probably broadcast, maybe not live on Facebook, but we're going to probably move onto our YouTube channel on May the 7th. And in fact, I'll kind of give you a heads up that the month of May, what we do is we take one ability or one skill or one creative, tool, we call it tool, and we talk about it for the whole month on Thursday nights, and usually 4 or 5 Thursdays in that month. So on the month of May, we're going to be talking about tolerance, and that's first cousin. I call it first cousin to love. So we're going to be talking about that for the month of May. That's another one of my announcements. And the other announcement I wanted to make was that we are still, hoping and praying for our virtual classroom that we're going to be opening up sometime probably in the midsummer to late summer. That's taken a little bit more effort than we thought, because we're trying to work with different service providers to help us with that. So that's kind of turning out to be kind of a project in itself. But we're hoping that we can get that going, and we're going to be having workshops actually online, pretty much like we're doing now. And I think the pandemic kind of, it spurred a lot of, thought, doing things differently. We kind of come up with doing things differently. We found out that we can homeschool our kids. We can work from home. We can move from, we don't have to have the facilities open 24/7. We can have you drive by. So we're finding out that we can do different things. And likewise, I'm going to be facilitating some of my workshops instead of at a particular center. We're going to do it online, so it'll be available and accessible to whomever around the world. In fact, on the online and on the internet, we have access to the world. So it's World Wide Web. So we're looking forward to that starting in midsummer, late summer. We're going to get that classroom going. And again, on Sunday, on this coming Sunday, I will be broadcasting Facebook Live from ITC's Facebook page on Sunday. I speak on the fourth Sunday every month. I don't know yet what my topic is going to be. However, I will be speaking at 11 o'clock, Facebook Live, IT Interfaith Truth Center Facebook page. If you're available, or if you're kind of kicking back at breakfast and having your coffee, tune in to us, and we'll say hello to you, and you get a nice message. Get a nice message for me. That's Sunday. And let's see, there's something else I wanted to say. Oh, I wanted to say too that in regards to the YouTube channel, we will be sending out announcements to our members toward the end of the month to invite you to subscribe to the channel, and giving you a little bit more information about it, and letting you know. We'll probably have some content on the website. I mean, on the YouTube channel, probably by the 1st of May. So you can probably go in and maybe listen to some of my presentations, or some recorded, just some recorded announcements, some recorded announcements and speeches and presentations, and some maybe even some workshops. I think we have a couple of recorded workshops that we may put on there just for some content. So on the 1st, you should be able to actually find us. And we are called The Conscious Creator. And you could just look for the blue man. If you've been to our Facebook page, just look for the blue man, and that's kind of our logo. So look for that. Starting about the 1st of May. And I also wanted to thank, did I say that? Yes. I wanted to thank everybody for sharing or sending their love and condolences and sympathy to the city of Smyrna. And because they lost one of their own, Officer Christopher Ewing was killed while serving earlier this week, and we received just an outpouring. I put it out there. I actually had an opportunity to work for the city of Smyrna Police Department for about 4 or 5 years. I was the assistant to the captain of communications division. So, and once you are an employee of the police department with them, you're part of that family, and you're always a part of that family. So, of course, my heart was saddened and broken at the loss of Officer Ewing. I did have an opportunity to meet him in February. He was relatively new. He was not an officer when I was there, but I met him on during the Black History activities in the city of Smyrna back in February, and he was very impressive young officer. So he's really going to be missed, I'm sure. But I just want to thank you for those your sympathy and your condolences, and I will pass that information on to the Smyrna Police Department, and I'm sure that they will appreciate it and be moved by your thoughts and prayers, and do continue to pray for them. Alrighty. So tonight, every week, like I said, every week we take a creative ability, a creative skill, and we're loaded down with abilities and skills and powers to create, and we're able to do that because we are created in the image of our Creator, and whatever the Creator can do, we can do. We're made out of the same stuff that the Creator's made out of, so of course we can do the same things that the Creator can do, as long as we realize who we are. And I try to remind you that every time I get an opportunity, I got a couple of ears or a couple of eyes, set of eyes looking at me. I try to remind you that you are an unlimited, unrestricted, conscious creator, co-creator with the universe, with one another, and you are endowed with the same abilities and same powers that Creator has. And it will benefit you greatly to recognize that, to embrace that, to accept that, and to do something with that. Because bottom line is you're creating whether you do it on purpose or you do it, oops, my bad, and have to back out and redo. So you're creating constantly. Absolutely everything that you can look around in wherever you are and see and touch and feel, you created that. You brought that into your reality. So sometimes we get stuff we don't want, and we end up with, oh my goodness, I really don't want to live in this neighborhood, or I don't want to have this job, but you created that job, and that's where you are. So you can, what we do with the Conscious Creators Toolbox is we help you be aware of that, be aware that you are manifesting your life constantly, and here's some things that you're doing that you may not realize that you're doing, or here's some things that you're not doing that you should be doing. So if you are available on Thursday nights, stop in at ITC 7 o'clock and join us, or check our YouTube channel out. And starting in May, we're gonna record. We're actually going to record from ITC for the YouTube channel, starting as soon as we open it later. But about tonight, what we're going to do tonight, we've been talking about feelings, and we've been talking about emotions this month. Earlier this month, we talked about fear, and we talked about fear. We talked about hopelessness. We talked about frustration and worry because of, and that was kind of mentioned. I think my daughter mentioned that that would probably be a good topic to talk about with everything that was going on with the pandemic. Everybody was stressed out and afraid and worried and scared. It was just a ball of emotion going on. So we decided to talk about feelings. So we did have a chance to talk about fear, hopelessness, and those things that were as a result of the pandemic. We had an opportunity to talk a little bit about that. And we also, in talking about that, we kind of talked about how fear and hopelessness can creep in and overpower you and keep you kind of stuck there and really beginning to feel the fear and having the fear manifest other stuff in your life and in your body. So we kind of talked about how you can flip the script on fear, flip the script on hopelessness, because you are a powerful, creative being, and you do not have to accept. You don't have to accept your reality like you have it. You can recreate it. So we talked about feelings. We talked about how you can change and rescript those fears and that hopelessness, that worry, that frustration. We also had an opportunity to talk a little bit about the vibration of your emotions and your feelings, and we talked about how that vibration, the vibration that those feelings generate in your body and throughout your being, how that attract other vibrations from outside of your body to bring into your reality, the things that you are manifesting and the things that you are desiring and wanting, and even not wanting. If you are consistently not wanting it, guess what? You're going to want it. You're going to have it. So we talked a little bit about that. We talked also about, the degrees of vibration. We talked about, we mentioned that love and thankfulness, gratefulness were the highest vibrating energies or emotions of any of the emotions. And we also talked about fear and doubt being the lowest or the least or the negative to the opposite. And we kind of talked about what those vibrations do to your body, do to your being, do to your environment, if left unchecked, if they are negative, and what it would bring to you if it's love, joy, and gratitude, and how that affects your reality. We talked a little bit about that. We also talked about belief. We talked about our limiting beliefs, and we talked about how we could, how emotions and reactions to your beliefs affected your body. We talked a little bit about on how you could actually check yourself and see if you had a belief, if you believe this, and how your body reacted to you making a statement about that belief. And usually when you make a statement about a belief that is negative, a negative belief, or a belief that is restrictive or limiting, you'll have a certain sensation in your body. Sometimes you get a queasy feeling in your stomach, a tightness in your stomach. Your toes might turn. I don't know. Sometimes I get some negative thoughts or whatever. My ears burn, or I feel warm, get a lump in my throat, kind of hoarse or whatever. And on the positive side, if I'm feeling joyful or I have a positive belief that is uplifting me and having me create a positive life, then I'm going to feel up. I'm going to feel happy. It's going to cause me to, for my heart to kind of, my body to warm up. Usually when I'm happy and excited about something, I warm, my body warms. So we talked about how we can look at our belief system and see if those are beliefs that will benefit us because they are positive, life-giving, prosperity producing beliefs, or are they beliefs that restrict you from having the fullness of life, your dream life, the things that you dream and desire? And we kind of talked about that. We kind of talked about I kind of mentioned too that it's not always easy for you to identify yourself, to identify some of your limiting beliefs. And I would encourage absolutely every one of you to try to identify those beliefs that do not serve you today, that that no longer serve you. You may have grown up thinking that, or somebody told you if you were a little girl, or maybe somebody told you that girls don't do math. We're poor math. We don't do math. And here you are. You just got your PhD, and you still believe in that? Well, that does not serve you anymore, darling, because you just got a PhD. So obviously you were kind of stumbled through it some way. So if I can identify those beliefs that no longer serve you or that are limiting you, then I would encourage you to do whatever it is, whatever you can to identify them and to flip the script on them. Rewrite that belief and make it a belief that warms you up rather than, make you cringe or scare you or frighten you or have your body acting all negative. Okay, so that we did talk about that, and I think that was last week we talked about that, I think. So tonight we're going to be talking about, continue on feelings. We're going to talk a little bit about feelings, but tonight we're going to look at what does love have to do with it. And I'm saying love because love is a feeling, but not just love, but what does feelings have to do with manifestation? What is it? Just why do I need to be concerned about how I feel? Well, I'm gonna talk about 3 points about just that fact. And one of the facts, or one of the points I'm gonna try to make tonight is that feelings are associated with movement and energy that is in and about your body. Okay, when you have a thought and it generates a feeling, and I'm not a quantum person, so I don't know which comes first. So I'm just going to say, if you have a thought and that thought generates a feeling, then somewhere in your body you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel when you're happy. You're gonna feel when you're angry. You're gonna feel when you're afraid. Some is going to affect, and that effect is actually energy moving around in and about your system. So that is one of the points I'm going to make, and hopefully you can kind of think about it and agree with it. Because if you're angry, I don't know how some people get. I get warm or hot. My face gets hot, or I get a tightness in my stomach. So how do you act when you're worried? How do you act? What does it feel? What do you get the sensation or the feel in your body when you are angry about something, or you're worried about something, or you find yourself, pacing the floor at night? What's going on in your body? I'm going to encourage you to be aware of that. Be aware of your body. What's happening in your system, in your body, with your body, to your body. And feelings have an effect on it. Feelings have an effect. And feelings like fear and hate have an adverse effect on your body. Feelings like love and gratitude have a positive effect on your body. So just be aware that and that's energy. That's energy, and that's action. That's something happening. That's something moving around and happening. So that has something to do with manifestation, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. The second point I'm going to make is that I want to make that energy, or the movement, coupled with a clear intention, a clear purpose, something that you clearly intend to do, you clearly intend to affect to happen, or make happen, or would like to see happen, coupled with an emotion, will guarantee, no doubt, it will result in a manifestation. You will create something as a result of that clear intention and coupled with a feeling. And I'm going to kind of give you a few demonstrations on that. And the third thing I'm going to talk about is I want to talk about that concentrated intention, focused intention. And intention, again, it's just, I intend to go to, as soon as this pandemic is over, I intend to, take my kids to Disney World. Well, that's an intention, and I'm if I concentrate on it, and I clearly want that to happen, and I can feel it, I can sense it. I can feel some, when I say it, when I'm talking to my kids and I say we're going to do that, and I can create a feeling that surrounds it, then, you know, it's pretty much guaranteed that we're going to make it to Disney World at some point. May not make it, you know, at the appointed time, but we will make it because I'm going to maintain that focus. So focused intention, that's a focused thought, and coupled with the feeling of a strong desire to get it done, will always, no doubt about it, create. That's how you create now. That's exactly how you create, subconsciously. That's what's happening when you create whatever it is. You have visualized it. You've created some sensation in your body and that sensation that you've created is vibration, and it's vibrating, and it's drawing that manifestation or that intention to you. And that's basic law of attraction. And if you want to know a little bit more about law of attraction, I'm going to encourage you to kind of peruse, kind of browse the internet about that, because you probably all are somewhat aware of the law, but it's really good to know what you're doing, because you are doing it, whether you are doing it with intention or you're doing it because you're just worried about it, because worry is also an intention, an unintention, but it's nonetheless a focused thought that you're maintaining, you're holding on to, and you're giving it power because worry is an emotion that does create that sensation in your body. So those are the things that's what I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about tonight, and I'm going to try to do it. And so that you can get something out of it, so you can just start right away being aware of what you're doing and flip the switch, flip the script if you need to, because I want you to create what you desire. I want you to create the life that you dream about, the things that you want. I want you to create that trip to Hawaii. I want you to create that new job, the wonderful relationship. I want you to create, manifest your children being prosperous and successful in schools. I want you to produce a life of prosperity and happiness and joy, health. I want you to be healthy. I want you to manifest that in your life, in your reality. So my desire is for you to manifest every good and perfect thing in your life, and undo and redo things that you have that you don't want, because you can. Anything that you don't want, you can flip the script, and manifest what you do want. Simple as that. So the first thing about feelings, let me see if I can kind of go a little bit more about feelings are associated with movement. Now, I don't know, hopefully it kind of goes without saying, but again, last week we talked about, or was it the week before, we talked about how you feel when you're feeling afraid. How do you feel when you're feeling afraid? Do you feel something? And think about it now. Just take an emotion, fear, take an emotion of joy, take an emotion of anger, and think about what and where in your body do you feel that sensation? Where do you feel it when you tell your children that you love them and that you're proud of them? Where do you feel it when you hear a song that gives you nostalgic, that reminds you of your first date or your first kiss, or just something positive? How do you feel? What does that feeling generate or show up in your being? Every single emotion that you have, absolutely everyone, will generate some vibration in your system. Absolutely all of them will. And again, I don't know if the thought comes before the emotion or the emotion gives way to the thought. But I'm going to, for the sake of tonight, I'm going to say that once I get in my mind that I am happy, then I can really begin to sense that joy and that happiness somewhere in my body. All right? So all feelings, all emotions, because it's just energy. Just like a thought is an energy, it's just energy. Everything about us is energy, but basically. But that thought is an energy, and that emotion that results from that thought, that arises from that thought, is also energy. And energy has in your body, you'll feel it. You will absolutely, without a doubt, feel it. Now, sometimes when you're desiring something, for instance, it's like, I really want that. I want that new set of golf clubs. I really do. I want to get out on the green. I got this old bag is falling apart. I want a new set of clubs. And I'm gonna get them. Well, I'm just saying that. I'm saying that I may not feel nothing. Well, if I really, really, really want it, and I really start intending it, focusing on it constantly, as often as I can, then it's going to generate something in me. Now, if it doesn't, then I must not want it bad enough. But if you want something with deliberate intention, with a desire, it's going to generate a reaction in your system. So what you do is you recognize that, and if you want to be a real good pro at manifesting, you do it deliberately. And I remember this one guy that I studied, Neville Goddard. He would, whenever he was deliberately manifesting, he would sit with that intention deliberately as often as he could. And, we pray, we meditate. He prayed, he meditated. So those were the times that he would deliberately sit with that intention of whatever it was. He would sit with it, and he would deliberately visualize it. He would deliberately meditate on it, and he would deliberately generate that vibration. And you get that vibration going, it's gonna magnetize or draw to it that desire that you have. So he was smart enough. He was kind of wise. He was probably one of the best manifestors that I know. He knew that. So you can do that too. You can do that same practice yourself. Because if you have a burning desire, if you have a desire, because desire is a feeling. Desire, and they call it burning because it does cause a burning sensation somewhere in your system. And that's, again, it's energy. So if you can generate that, and sometimes when you can't, when you say, well, maybe I don't want it bad enough. Well, let me see if I can generate it. I'll give you some tips on how you can generate that. You can generate it by visualization. Visualize it. And if you can't visualize it with your picture, get a picture go get a picture out of a magazine. Go online and get the picture of this set of golf clubs that I want. And, stick it on my refrigerator. And absolutely every time I see it, it's going to trigger something in me, because now I'm using one of my senses in addition to, the feeling of my body. I'm also using my visual sense to see it. So if you can activate as many of your senses associated with whatever it is you want, that also it helps it to speed up that manifestation process. And it keeps it in front of you. It keeps it in your mind. It keeps it in your being. It keeps it about you, and it keeps that vibration going. And that vibration is what draws it to you. So again, feelings have motion, and that motion is energy, and that energy can be found somewhere in your system. If it is your intention, if it is your desire, it's got to appear somewhere in your system. So use that energy to understand that you can use that energy to draw things to you. Make sure you have that clear intention, though, and a burning desire. Okay, energy coupled with the intention. Let's talk a little bit about that. You can have feeling that's because of a passing thought. You can have a thought that may, cause a passing feeling. But when you obsess, like when we were first getting introduced to this coronavirus, everybody was obsessed with the fear of it. That they were apprehensive about it. They were worried about it. They were concerned about it. They were, ripping toilet paper out of each other's hand at the store. We were just acting all kind of crazy. We were acting. We were doing some energy stuff. Not only were we feeling it in our body, we were acting out some of it too. So, and again, there you go. That's energy. That's all. That is energy, and it's moving around. So, let me encourage you to be aware of when you want something. And if it's just a passing want, then you've created the thought. You've created a thought, and that energy has been created and is out there floating around. But unless you bring it back to you and you concentrate on it and you focus on it, it's just that. It's just a passing thought, a passing memory, floating energy that's out there. It might bump into some energy sometime and maybe find its way into your life, but chances are, it may not if it's passing. But it could. It very could, because how strong it was when you put it out there. So those two things coupled. And again, if you can activate as many of your senses, your sense of smell, your sense of sight, your sense of hearing, that's associated with whatever that desire is that you want, you'll see it manifest a whole lot faster. So feelings has a lot to do with manifestation. Love has a lot to do with manifestation. Fear has a lot to do with manifestation. Any emotion has a lot to do with what you see and what you create and what you manifest in your life. Absolutely, hands down. No questions asked. And if you go and ask a physicist, they will probably tell you, well, yeah, but they will probably just explain it a whole lot more scientifically than as simple as I tried to make it here. And then concentrated thought or concentrated intention. Again, I can have a passing thought, oh, I wish I could come in and say, you know what, I need a new pair of tennis shoes. I wish I could. And if I don't think about it ever again, that's a passing thought. It's not really an intention, but an intention is what I deliberately set out with purpose and plan and have as much information as I can that's surrounding it, as an intent, as a desire, as a wish. I put some meat to it. I just didn't pass. I come in if I really want some tennis shoes. I think I want to get me a new pair of Nikes. I think I want to get the high type one. The more details I can put on that thought, the chances are the more it's going to become a desire, an intention, a real intention, not just a passing thought. So when you can always tell if you're really true to yourself, you can always tell if what you're asking for was just a passing nice to have or something that you desire, because if it's a desire, you've got a little bit more details about it than I just want a new pair of tennis shoes. You're gonna be able to talk about what kind you want, what size you want, you can even visualize the store that you're going to get them from. So you get more, as you get more detail about that intention or that thought, it becomes that intention. So when you can focus it, when you can really focus on it and have some directive to it and some meat to it, I call it meat to it, and then you couple it with your feelings, your emotions about it, and you can visualize it. You can smell the new tennis shoe, the box when you can smell the box when it comes in. You know what it smells like. You know what they feel like, and you can walk to the store, and every time you pass them, you say, "Oh, these are my shoes right here. These are mine." And eventually, trust me, you're gonna have a very similar pair of Nike's gonna be up in your closet, before never. Okay, so that's basically how we manifest. That's how we recreate our reality, is by desiring it, a desire, not a passing thought, a desire with some meat to it, some much more than just, it would be nice to have that. Okay. I have had the opportunity since I've been actually working, doing the concerts, and I think it's been about a year now that I've been actually doing these workshops, these sessions, and I have had such awesome feedback from folk who has really benefited from being aware of how they manifest, how they create their reality. For instance, I had a friend of mine about a year ago. Her intention was to open a storefront. She sells barber supplies, and her intention a year ago was to open a storefront. And she opened that storefront, I think back in this past February, which is a little less than a year. Another friend of mine, she just moved here from Alabama, and she was new in town, and she had been riding the bus, and she says, you know what, I'm going to buy me a car. And she told me exactly the car she wanted. And, a couple of months ago, I said, is that your white Honda that's out there that you said you were gonna manifest? So people we do it. We manifest. We cannot not manifest. We cannot not create, because that's what we do. That's how we have every bit of our reality, is because we created it. So we do it subconsciously. We do it just because we are creators. We do it because that's what we do. But do it, I want to encourage you to do it deliberately. Do it with purpose. Do it with an intention of having the things that you want to see in life. and the more we do that, the less we'll look around to see, because who is gonna invent, or who's gonna create somebody to dislike? Who's gonna invent somebody to hate? Who's gonna create those people in your life? I wouldn't create anybody in my. I'm sorry, I'm kind of. I don't know if my I kind of flipped out a minute, but anyway, let's create and let's manifest the life that we want. Let's create the reality. Let's create a reality of love. Let's create a reality of joy, a reality of peace, a reality of tolerance, a reality of cooperation, collaboration. Let's manifest healthy, a world, a community of healthy and wealthy and prosperous neighbors. Let's create a school system that takes our kids leaps and bounds and then some. Let's manifest a system, a governmental system that really, really, really serves the people and the needs of the people, and not support just itself. Let's manifest the life that we want. Let's manifest on purpose. Let's manifest deliberately with solid, focused intention. Let's do that rather than, oops, my bad, I didn't mean to have that. Well, it's kind of fun to go back and redo sometimes, but sometimes we get ourselves in a mess, and it was like, we get depressed about it. And, we get depressed, but, bottom line, we did it. This is it. I manifest, this is it. So manifest best. My motto, my word to the conscious creators, I say manifest best. Make it whatever it is that you're creating, whatever it is that you're bringing into your reality, make sure it's the best. Leave anger, leave fear, leave those things at home or somewhere else as often as you can. Avoid those and use those emotions that generate those positive things in your lives and in your reality. And you know what? I think that I would be so excited if I would look up one day and I've got a boatload of emails or a boatload of messages that's sharing with me what you create. In fact, I would really love to hear you share with me what you're manifesting. What are you manifesting in your life, in your world? Talk to me. Share that with me, because I just get chills when I hear people become proactive in creating their worlds and their lives. So share with me if you're out there manifesting something, and you're manifesting. But if it's something awesome that you know that you deliberately, and you can sit down and say, I know the date that I said I was going to do this. Like Cece said with the store, she can tell me the date that we talked about it. Angie can tell me the date that she talked about her new car. And we can celebrate. So I'd love to celebrate every best manifestation that you would love to share with me. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are here with me. I hope you guys hang out again with me next Thursday. Next Thursday will be the last Thursday. We're going to be talking about feelings. I'm not exactly sure what approach I'm going to take. If you have something that you want me to kind of elaborate on or go back and talk about, shoot me an email, text me, message me on Facebook and let me know. And I'd love to go back and talk about some other, reiterate some of the topics, some of the subject matter that we've talked about this month. Continue to encourage you to keep your hope going, keep your hope alive. Do not allow whatever is put before you. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy it and wear it around like a fine piece of jewelry just because somebody just shoved it in your face. You don't have to. You don't have to be discouraged by what people try to show you. You can say, oh, that's pretty lousy, and I'm gonna look the other way, but that's not, I'm not buying that for my world. I'm not going to buy it for my life. I'm not going to buy it for me. And be, put your foot down. And that's how it's going to be. That's not for me. That might be something that you want to wear but that's not my color. I don't wear that. So manifest best. Come back and see me. Thanks for stopping in with Conscious Creators. And if you're not a member, join. We're public right now. We're going to be public probably until maybe the end of the summer. But after that, we're going to probably close our membership too and just become private. But please join us. And look for us in May for our first YouTube channel. I'm really excited about that because I think it's going to give me a little bit more flexibility. We'll be able to ask questions, and I can be able to respond to you while we're actually broadcasting. I can't do that now because we're a little bit limited, but at that time we can. So if there's a topic that you want me to kind of talk about next week, or even in the future, something that you want to hear a little bit more elaboration on, let me know. As long as it's a creative ability, a power, ability that we have that help us manifest our lives and manifest our realities, I'd love to talk about it and help you fine tune it, sharpen it, so that you can be the best manifestors ever. Again, thank you. Send love. I send my love as a light, and I wish you all the best of best in manifestation. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. God bless.